Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 575, and today we're doing battle with Noxus Ornn. And so the deck before you is obviously heavily influenced by the Darius Gnar decks of old, but it has to get that new rotation, that Dreamlit Paths edge to it, and I'm really interested in seeing how this plays out today. So if you're not familiar with this style of deck, it looks to get some early game stat bonuses to our units. So we're going to be using Omen Hawks, Weapon Master's Apprentice, and the Adulski Snowdog to boost up our future plays, and then we're just looking to have all of our future plays be gigantic overwhelm units. And so we're just going to start slamming at our opponent with those stat boosted overwhelms, ideally winning the combat, but even if we lose our unit in combat, we should be punching in some additional damage along the way. As the game progresses, we're going to try and make a big final blow to take the opponent down to get those last remaining points of damage in. The most common way to go for that is going to be with decisive maneuvers. This works fantastically with the overwhelm plays in that you get to grow your already big overwhelm units into a bigger stat line, but it also lets you remove an opposing unit from combat. So if we have a 7/7 overwhelm unit and an opponent blocks it with something gigantic, we can just stun that thing out of combat and then still deal the full amount of damage against the stun unit, while ideally boosting some of the other overwhelms along the way. Some of the angles that we'll be taking here that are a little bit different from Darius Gnar are Gnar is in the format, but Darius is not. We're still looking for that big kind of champion-based overwhelm finisher that you got from Darius, and we're going to be trying to accomplish that with Ornn. The Ornn angle that we have here is that we do get to take advantage of one of the new highly powered cards out of the Dreamlit Paths in the Blighted Battle Axe. It's a very aggressively oriented early game play. It can, in my opinion, be quite strong in the way that it functions in that you can play it early, maybe get in, 4 points of damage with an Omen Hawk, trade off that Omen Hawk on the next attack, and then get to re-equip the Blighted Battle Axe to something bigger. It's just this nice recursive piece of damage that comes with a very hefty stat line. And so very excited to bring it forth. It does have quite a few combos in here, as dealing a 8 power weapon-based attack is the important thing that you need to hit Ornn and get Ornn to flip. And so there are units like the Glacial Saurion that just does it naturally. The red barbed Razor Mace with a +1 bonus would then get that 8 power strike in as well, making it a little bit easier to get Ornn leveled up as soon as he comes down. The more classical way to take advantage of Ornn is going to be with the Bone Club, another fantastically strong play, making either an early style unit like Omen Hawk just big. A 6/6 Omen Hawk on turn 3 is not that bad of a deal, but it also can be generated again as Ornn comes on the board, or be used to make that big 8 power strike. Outside of that, we have a small interactivity package in here. The Scholarly Pioneer is still a unit I love in this format. Very relevant, being able to blow up landmarks to take the opposing stories off the board. The singular copy of Might to maybe give a Enraged Fire Spitter Overwhelm, or to give an unflipped Ornn Overwhelm while he's at it. And then a few points, or a few stacks of Bloody Business to give us a little bit of non-combat based interactivity. And so that is it. That's the deck. See if Ornn can't do the Duncan like Darius, am I right? Too bad we never got that Dunk Master Darius skin in the face of Runeterra. I'm surprised that that Darius actually got taken out of Standard. He was the kind of flagship, the flagship Noxan unit in my opinion, and so I was surprised to see him go. But make do with what we got. So into the battles up against Nidalee. This should be the Transformers style of deck, to where the Scholarly Pioneer is going to get the opportunity to shine with the landmark destruction. So we'll see how this plays out. Ideally, we'll be able to get on board faster than the opponent, so they have to make the decision to either fight for board or try and get the landmarks going, and not be able to just run hog wild and do whatever it is they want to do without any intervention. Can't get that tracker on the screen. All right. Let's see who we're up against. No worries about this attack here. If he wants to bring it in, it's not a problem. We do have to worry about this thing being a Nidalee on a future turn. But we'll see, how he ends up spending his mana here. I'm still going to go ahead and drop the Pioneer. I'm going to pick up the Landmark Destruction, and now we'll see how they handle our mana, in the sense that if he wants to protect a Nidalee, Nidalee would be a good combat against the Scholarly Pioneer, or if he wants to put another unit on board, then we might be able to try and take this down. Alright, this hook just does not look good anymore. Blimp Pack Poacher. Does that get the kill? I don't even know what this thing does. Captures an enemy? Sure. They took off that requirement, right? There used to be some kind of requirement for the poacher to activate. Neat. Wonder if he's going to try and drop the combo to where you catch a unit with the poacher and then wings giving away the poacher so that the capture goes away. That's how that should work, right? If he transforms the poacher into something else, then the unit's just gone forever. Alright, well. I came to this party prepared, my friend. I can let you know from first-hand experience, it does not feel good to get your wings giving blown up. And so hopefully we'll just get a big shot of tempo out of that. But what I'm going to be looking to do here, we passed on our plays on the previous turn. I'm actually looking to see what's going to be the best for the Blighted Battle Axe. We can just come in and hook down the Blimp Pack Poacher, but we need to see what the opponent presents to us. Yeah, this is where we're going to be stuck. Get our Snow Dog back. If we end up trading away the Saurion here for his Storm Cloud, I think that's still fine. Now, the thing that will be relevant is if he has the second Wings Giving. It's kind of tough to do. So, interesting. Why does our Snow Dog lose its stat line? Is that a fresh summon when you come in off of a capture? I thought you got the exact copy of the unit back. Learning all kinds of shit today. It never ends. It's always new. Fuck. Alright, well, we gotta take Risu off of the board. Not ideal, but it is what it is. Where are we at next turn? We're going to be at 2, 4, 6, 7. We can have up to 9 mana. Alright, I'll just go ahead and drop the Apprentice. I don't think we're ever going to be dropping in the Enraged Fire Spitter. I mean, maybe we do. Maybe that was a poor choice there. So that's just got to be Nidalee. I guess it could be another Blimp Pack Poacher, right? I haven't learned my lesson yet, so we'll just pass. I think that's fine. Maybe we do end up playing the Fire Spitter next turn to take down the Shadow in the Brush. Or the attempt to, at least. Let's see how he spends his mana. I immediately ran out that interesting, he just doesn't level up anything. I immediately brought out the Weapon Master's Apprentice because I just assumed that we were never playing the Fire Spitter. We were going to Bloody Business Combat Cook. But maybe that's not actually the angle here. Now it is back to another interesting spot in that we've just picked up Ornn, and I'd like to get Ornn down next turn and then just have him open attack on the following play. And so I think I am now going to push back away. Say JK LOL, not actually playing the dragon this round because I want to get this 8 damage strike in with the Combat Cook. Like if we take the Scholarly Pioneer into the Shadows in the Brush and it turns out to be a Blimp Pack Poacher, like fine, whatever. I don't particularly worry about that. So one of the interesting things with Wings Giving, if you're not familiar, you do get to keep these granted bonuses, right? So the Bristlehog is actually a fairly interesting target for the Wings Giving, since it can maintain that +2/+1 as it upgrades into a higher leveled unit. Interesting. Why is he just running Nidalee out in front of the Pioneer? So he can poach our combat cook.
Hammer, tongs, anvil.
All right, I'll battle. I'll take the bait. I'm fine to trade off Nidalee for any of these units. We're going to be looking at a... Okay, I was going to say, like, we might end up playing a bloody business here, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be super necessary, and then we get to chunk in these extra little points of damage. It's a pretty good bloody business if he just adds a unit to the board. Interesting. I don't want our bloody business to get hit by an Avenging Vistaya. That's an ambush he hasn't played up to this point. So it's not Nidalee. Chief Knack attack comes in. Alright. I would assume that that's not a... that it's not a Avenging Vistaya. If that was an Avenging Vistaya, he would have just carried the mana into the next round. And so we'll just go ahead and take down Nidalee while we can. And then if he wants to try and sit around and do a bunch of flip nonsense next turn, I don't think I really care. The Ornn should be big enough to cause some serious problems. Maybe we don't even play Ornn next turn. Like these dragons are so good at this point. Oh, we drew Might. Never mind. Never mind. I say I come at you. I come at you with that big overwhelm. Is it just me, or do these games feel like they take fucking forever now? Like I swear there was a point in time where I was able to get like 7 or 8 games in an hour-long video, and then like it feels like we cut it down to only 5 games here recently. Now this game here, it's like it feels like as I look down at the half-hour mark, and it's like fuck, we're like 2.5 games in. So what I suspect we're about to run into is it's going to be the 3/1 unit that gives a unit vulnerable. And then after that, I would expect him to just start to wings giving up the shadows in the brush. Doesn't even look that good. Okay. So he's just afraid to actually use the wings giving. I assume that Spear's gonna go with a Weaponsmith's Apprentice. Just no good targets online. Interesting.
Mangle them.
And Gnar. Okay. He's never gonna wings giving, huh? Just literally never. Literally never. There we go. So it is kind of an interesting space next turn. He's only got 1 card in hand. The thing is like, do we want to open attack, right? And I don't really want to open attack. I'd really like to get one of these dragons on board, maybe even drop a battle axe. The place that gets really worrisome is if he has a wallop, right? So he's going to have access to the physical spell wallop, or if he has a second Gnar in hand. It's kind of tough to do. How does this block look though? Say like he blocks with both. We're gonna have 14 overwhelm, so that would be 28 overwhelm, and then plus 3. That's 28 plus 3, 31. And he's gonna have a max of 12 blocking. Okay, we'll just bring. It's like, at least if we get walloped at this point, we're still going to be threatening lethals. But it's like just an absolute disaster if our Gnar gets, or if our Ornn gets walloped and we don't get to present anything this turn. It's like if we play a dragon and then he gets to wings giving and play another card, like that just all sounds Sounds horrible. Sounds horrible. So I like where we're at here. There's even like odder corner cases to where we play a dragon and then he just stress defenses Ornn. You know, we still get to attack and get some of those bonuses, but the units are all super small. All right, well, I guess we weren't supposed to play Might. Taking a taking a long pause. Did we get a rage quit? I always like it when that happens. Always brings a little humor to my day. You know, you gotta you gotta wait on the rope to roll through, but I think we did. I think we did. LOL. One of my favorite lines from Bad Santa. It's after the skater kids beat up Thurman Merman, then Billy Bob Thornton goes and finds the skater kids and beats them up, and then he's having his heart-to-heart moment with I believe it's with the elf. I can't remember his name. But he says, "For the first time in my life, I feel good about myself because I beat the shit out of some kids today." that's what it feels like right there, you know.
Well done.
Just beating the shit out of some kids. Love Bad Santa. Everybody's got their favorite holiday movie, but Bad Santa's right up there for me. Don't bother with Bad Santa 2. Don't even bother. That was a painful watch. That was painful. I don't even remember how it came together seeing it. Like I know I saw it with like my bestie from back in West Virginia, but it was like after I moved to Kansas City when it came out. So I think I might have been in town for a holiday or something, and we're like, "Hey, let's go watch Bad Santa." And oof. Oof. That was a tough one. But what are we going to do here? I kind of like this start minus the apprentice. Like, I think this is a reasonable place just to send the apprentice away, right? We're not playing Jack's Ornn to where you just have 1,000 ways to come in and take that unit down. What I'm kind of envisioning here is the way I typically like to mulligan with these Freylord-based decks is we just mulligan for the Omen Hawk, for the Snow Dog, and then for Ancient Yetis. But as we are up here against Norra, this gives us a reasonable place to pivot, right? If he plays Norra, we can block with Omen Hawk and get a takedown with Sky Splitter. And now that we've actually just drawn a second Omen Hawk, we just have a good block for the turn. And so, curious to see how the round plays out. Now, it's even more interesting. That was kind of strong on the previous turn to where we have the Pioneer on 3 along with the Blighted Battle Axe just to have this gigantic interactive play. And we could potentially pause. Now, up against Elder Dragon Norra Vex, I don't expect them to have good, big plays here on turn 3, or even if at all. And so I think this is fine to just go ahead and get the Scholarly Pioneer down. Okay, this works for me. Now, I did pick up the Excavation. This should be a Wings Giving deck, right? Norra Vex Elder Dragon, I believe. That tends to be with the Wings Giving. I haven't made a video for this deck, but I'm pretty certain that that's what's coming at us. Dude's got a Yeti of his own. That's pretty annoying. I'll just go ahead and load up the Pioneer. If he wants to take a hook on an Omen Hawk, I guess that's going to be fine. Nothing else we can really do about it. Now, the pain point in dropping the Battle Axe on this turn is our unit is going to shrink, and then we can't bloody business next turn unless we do a bunch of work. And so this has been a incredibly powerful Ancient Yeti coming at us. We're going to have to draw well to get ourselves out of this. maybe it does just involve playing the Sky Splitter, but it's not even a damaging attack. There we go. That's a little better. There's a big old boy ready to party. Right, this is what I was kind of talking about in the beginning of the video in terms of the Blighted Battle Axe, right? We have this opportunity to, put it on a smaller unit in the early game. We've gotten some fairly decent value out of it. And now, as the game progresses, we should be able to just move this Battle Axe somewhere else. I am just going to go ahead and play the Sky Splitter here, though. Now that we've lost our Overwhelm unit and the Razor Barb, whatever he's called, we're not really guaranteed to have a good target for that Battle Axe next turn, right? Just putting the Battle Axe onto an Omen Hawk does not feel particularly good. It's Deathless on the dragon. It's a huge pain point. I was actually thinking to myself earlier in the day today, like it's wild that the dragon hasn't been reduced to 3 health. Just the absolute strongest bullshit that you're able to do with the dragon is get the 3-for-1, right? So he comes down and kills 1 unit. He gets the trade on a smaller play. We had to play the Blighted Battle Axe so that the dragon doesn't just get to straight up kill this mini T. And it's just an all-around huge pain point in that direction. And having this thing be an 8-4 was pretty obnoxious, but while he still gets to remain in the game as a 6-4 is pretty crazy. And I would assume at this point it will literally never change. And so I was trying to think of the stat line to where a 6-mana unit that does everything that the Enraged Fire Spitter would still be playable. Probably like a 4-3. I think a 4-3 is still on the table. Like, looking at a board like this to where the dragon gets to come down, clean up a unit, and then hook into this 2-3, and then still be threatening a block the next turn and have Deathless. Like, come on, right? Come on. That's such a humongous stat line to be able to be hitting this stuff with, and so insane. Let's hit. Let's see if he goes for value or if he goes for the Deathless play. It looks like the Deathless. So hopefully we'll get to squeeze out a couple more points of damage here from this Blighted Battle Axe. Ideally, we need to draw like back-to-back Overwhelms. We might be able to win the game with 1 Overwhelm, but it would definitely feel a lot better if we picked up 2 Overwhelms. We got 1. We do have to wait on combat before we're able to drop it, though. Kind of an unfortunate moment for this board in the sense that I really want to... it's just a strong pass for the opponent. I think we just have to pass and see if he takes the bait on it. This just seems like such a strong pass for him, still losing out on the dragon and then giving us the chance to play cards. Like, who's going to have the stronger late game in this situation, right? Is it going to be us playing a deck that, caps out at Ornn? Or is it going to be this guy playing the Elder Dragon? And I have to imagine that the Elder Dragon deck just has a way, 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 way better top end than we do. And that probably should have just been a pass. Now, I mean, there's no way to tell what's in his hand. I am a little bit frightened in this sense. You can't just attack. I threw down the Yeti thinking we were going to be at 9, and I forgot that power was going to fall away. But no, at the end of the day, his health should just, or his late game is just going to be so much stronger than ours that just coming in and not dying. Why can't you copy an why couldn't I click on the Ancient Yeti? I clicked the Ancient Yeti and it didn't do anything, and so I hit pass, because that's the way it works with cards in your hand. That's fucking weird. Why can't you copy a Blighted Battle Axe? Alright. Whatever. What more can you say about this game? Whatever, I guess. Did we really, like, I can't, it's tough to tell. Maybe I misclicked, maybe I didn't. But can you, like, why would you not be able to copy a Blighted Battle Axe with your Ornn?
You wanted the God of the Forge, you got him.
That would have been pretty cool to have here, though. But no, before I got sidetracked there, the reason I was kind of worried is, right, that does strike me as a very horrible attack, just losing the dragons and getting the stuff going like that. I guess the attack, it wouldn't have seemed as bad to me if he just saved the dragon, right? Trading the dragon for a 2/3 unit does not seem particularly impressive. And so that makes me worry, like, what's actually in his hand, right? Is it just a bunch of really highly interactive kind of cards and he just doesn't give a shit about losing that dragon? Or was it just a bad attack? Still weirded out about this Ornn, though. still weirded out. That was very strange to me.
The forest hides friend and foe alike.
So he returns Ornn. That's fine. I'm not certain if we're able to shut this down. He should be able, like, this Trevor Snooze Bottom was a gigantic pain in the dick because it's going to give him an additional elusive. And so I think that's what's actually going to get us here. Looks like another world-classly terrible attack about to roll through. I guess I guess it can copy the Wind Singer, and then that's another big unit to have on board, but oh, we can't even block with our Yeti, and so yeah, that was tough. Like, I'm not certain. I mean, maybe we should have just gone for it on that turn. I was the way that I was considering that with the Yeti is I saw the Yeti was a 9/9. I didn't consider that we're going to have to lose that point of attack and then have it be an 8/8. And it was like, the question to me was, are we going to be able to open attack and decisive maneuver the blocker away to get the finish, right? Because if you're presenting the exact lethal, he's going to look to block, then you play the decisive maneuver and get the win. But with our unit falling short, that kind of canceled that plan, and we had to get the Ornn on board, which then didn't do quite what I wanted, and so that's an odd space to be. But the stuff I was calling out there is essentially just spot on, right? That's a very fair collection of questions to ask yourself, right? Who has the better late game at this point? Who's going to be strong as this game progresses on? It's the Elder Dragon. Like, what deck has better late game than Elder Dragon Norra? I don't know. Elder Dragon Viego, Elder Dragon Mordekaiser. Like, the only proper answers to that question are other Elder Dragon decks. And so, like, anytime you're playing the Elder Dragon and your opponent's like, cool, let's just drag this game out, fucking awesome, right? Like that, there's not a better thing that you could have happen for your day. So that's why that turn was just so perplexing to me. It's just very weird to see the opponent try so hard to punch the damage in. When, you know, if we go to turn 15, awesome. You should be super stoked about that. Alright, though, let's see where this round gets us. He made us discard that we don't care about. Nothing on turn 3. Another very strange set of circumstances here, but should be able to punch in some big damage this round. See if he's got an answer to our big boy here. Come at him with the 8/8. Big enough to flip an Ornn. Big enough to take down this Yeti and survive. See how it goes. So far, so good. Like everything about that. The bummer angle for our Razor Mace in this kind of space is being up against a Bandle City deck. You do have to assume that he's going to just die, right? As he only has 1 health coming into our next attack token, I have very low expectations on what this the survival rate on our reptile is going to be. So we'll see if he actually gets, preemptively killed, so we get a chance to be a little bit safer. Interesting.
Kindle picked me. That's
There's a very greedy line. I'm curious what the opposing hand looks like.
Fighting food and cooking evil. Switch those.
Right, if you Portal Palooza and just whiff, you're looking to take a fairly massive set of damage here.
Come and get it.
But not a bad round for the Scout Rake. He's got nothing on board that can really contest the Combat Cook, and so kind of off to the races for him. Nice little grind mode that we should be assembling. And we got our friend Ornn ready at home. I mean, we might realistically just be wide enough to finish off the game. He plays Cloud Drake? Yeah, I'm 99% certain we just win the game here. Right, we play Omen Hawk. He's only got 2 blockers. He has to put his biggest unit in front of our Overwhelm. And then we're just going to decisive maneuvers that blocker away. And then get an extra 8 damage on these dum-dums to the left. Like, the dum-dums to the left might just straight up be enough, right? 2, 4, 6, 6 plus 8. What is that, like 14? A little bit short, I guess. All right. Rip Areno. Market a W for old Bust. All right, so we'll get ourselves one more game in. That's weird, right? I told you, man. Like we're 32 minutes in. This is like the shortest intro I've done in a long time, and we're stuck. Oh, do we get another rage quit though? I'm telling y'all, beating the shit out of some kids feels pretty good. But this statement, like this kind of thing, is exactly why I feel like Legends of Runeterra was released at the wrong point in time. Like, why are these people like rage quitting off of ladder, right? Because you have 15 minutes to play a game, so you get your one game in, the game ends, and you just rage quit and leave. Like, your ladder grinders up here at Masters aren't just quitting after one game. It's either you're playing dozens of games all back to back, or you're playing in the middle of your car ride to school, or waiting on class to end, or eating lunch, or you're taking a shit at work. Like, these are all the situations to where you play one game, and it's really valuable to have a card game in that space, because you can't just go take a shit at work and play a game of League. You can't play a game of Wild Rift. You can't play a game of Teamfight Tactics. You can't play a game of Hearthstone Battlegrounds. Like, there's these really like short moments to where it's like, all right, well, I'll just play a card game because I can finish that in 8 to 10 minutes. And what are you doing for 8 to 10 minutes during COVID? Right? I can't leave my house for 2 months, so I'm just sitting around doing fuck all with nothing to do. I'm trying to pick up a hobby like crocheting just because it fills up the time as I watch Tiger King for the second time. And that sounds like a perfect time to release a game that gets played in 10-minute chunks. And so, wild. The release of this game was wild to me. All right, so reasonable enough start. As I clicked the keep, I think we made a fairly large mistake with this opener. This is one of these hands to where you look at it and you're like, all right, well, I see cards that are cheap. I can envision how this curve comes out kind of early, but we kind of deviated from that standard plan of I want Jesus, that was a good Mirai Warden. You say that standard plan of I want the birds, I want the Stow Dogs, and I want the Yetis, and that hand had none of it. Oh snap! We just go in giant battle axe. Don't mind if I do.
Here, let me
So I'm ready to flip Ornn out here on turn 3. I'm ready. Let's battle. Ooh, that's an interesting block. I guess giving up the units here. Okay. Why wouldn't you just do that with Mirai Warden, though? All right, looking good. Looking good. So what do we bring in on this combat? Do we want to actually bring in the second Razor Mace? I think it seems fine. Getting us the chance to get Ickers as opposed to like the value-oriented play we would get out of Glacial Saurion. Ooh, a salvage? I don't know about that, Fam Jam. Is Jettison still in this format? Is he able to jettison and hit deep? I think it's in. I think it's in. This is lethal. He'll die to Ickers if he blocks like this. Aye. There's that 3-minute game we're looking for, huh? Alright. GG. Well played. Let's pull this up. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Fix that score. Don't take those wins away from yourself. And so, not a bad set of games, not a bad set of battles. You know, this is a take on the classic, and I think there's some opportunity for this deck to really shine in this meta as... well, I say as people get tired of playing Elder Dragon Morgana. It's still the most popular deck in the meta, but the more kind of like hotness for the week is actually the Norra version of the deck and a lot of the Wings Givings decks. And this style of deck is classically quite good against Norra style of decks. Decks that are just putting down unit walls. They say, the way I'm going to get to the late game is just blocking your units turn after turn. You tend to function very well into that type of thing, as to where, you know, they play a junk construct and you still get to attack with your Snow Dog and have it survive. And then on your next attack token, they play another junk construct and generate a random 2/3. You get your red barbed Razor Mace into combat. It doesn't die. It deals extra points of damage. It gets the Icker going. And those style of, you know, defenses from Norra are quite good against stuff, say, like Hecarim, as to where he's just like, here's all I can do is attack with a shitload of units. None of them have Overwhelm. One of them has Elusive. Like, just block and block and block. You're going to beat me. And so I think there is quite a bit of potential for this deck to actually be quite good. Depending on how much we continue to see Norra out here running around and how much we continue to see Bandle City out here running around, because this deck does have a fair bit of flavor against the go tall Wings Giving style of decks if you're able to shut down that Wings Giving with something like Decisive Maneuvers, right? You generate your 8 drop, you can only block one of our units, and then we stun your unit out of combat. Very reasonable for us to take advantage of something like that. Nonetheless, good set of games. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bust and we thank you for being here.